Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, January 23rd, and today I am going to go over dairy versus non-dairy and some things to think about. So, whether you choose to do dairy or whether you don't, that's up to you. However, this is why I choose what I do. So there's lots of research on dairy and versus non-dairy and what that can look like in our lives. If you're staying up on, sorry, pardon my thumb. If you're staying up on things that are being promoted right now, at the beginning of the year, you've got the Mediterranean diet, the paleo, plant paradox, all the stuff I talk about. Plus, you've got the, what are they calling it? The David diet, something like that. Just a second. My phone's doing stupid things, so hopefully you can still see me. At any rate, all of these have something in, there we go. All of these have something in common, and that is they pretty much don't do dairy. So this is why. First off, milk, cow's milk, is made for baby cows. It is designed to create a little tiny, 50 to 75 pound creature and turn him into a 400-pound creature in a very short amount of time, like 3 or 4 months. Okay? So, what is that doing to these creatures that are consuming it? It's putting an excess of weight that is unnecessary on the human body and on the human structure. Now, we are the only species on Earth that consumes another species' hormone dispensary system, because that's what it is. It's a hormone dispensary system for another animal. And we are the only species that consumes it past infancy. So I've had kids that I've taught this to say, well, what about a cat? My cat eats milk. Yeah, well, who gives it to him? He doesn't go out and get it from his mama. And unless he lives on a dairy farm, he doesn't go out and get it from a cow. Okay? So, sorry, we got a bunch of mosquitoes in here this morning. So at any rate, those are reasons that you may want to avoid cow's milk. Not to mention, it's very allergenic for most people. Like, if you've got a cold or a cough or anything like that, one of the absolute worst things you can do is consume cow's milk, because it's going to create more mucus. Okay, so that's not what you're wanting when you're at that phase. As far as substitutes, what can you do other than cow's milk? Oh, and the calcium that's in cow's milk, this is just a sales pitch that the dairy folks have put out there. The calcium that's in cow's milk is the least bioavailable calcium out there. It's really good at making calcium stones, not so good at converting at the cellular level. The most highly bioavailable calcium out there is coral calcium. And so that's what I recommend. If you're going to take calcium, take the coral calcium. And there's some pretty large debate over calcium as well, especially after 50 or 60 years old. You want to stay away from that. If you want to build bone, use strength training, use other forms. There's a lot of other things you can do instead of straight up calcium. Okay, so back on track, back to dairy. Alternate forms of milk that you can use. I try to stay away from the grains, so I don't generally use rice milk, although my kids liked rice milk over almond milk or coconut milk. I prefer almond milk and coconut milk. Those are my two favorites. Coconut has a lot of other benefits. So the alpha butyric acid that is in coconut milk actually really helps with brain healing, brain strength. It helps with general healing in the body. Like coconut oil itself actually has an SPF of 10. So there's a lot of good things around that, around using that. And almond milk doesn't have anything like that, but generally it's pretty clean. You want to make sure, hi Anita, hi Meryl, you want to make sure it has, or it doesn't have any carrageenan. So carrageenan is an additive that helps extend the life of the shelf life of the product. However, carrageenan is a carcinogen, so if you're avoiding milk, dairy to begin with, you probably shouldn't be adding cancer instead. So check the labels for carrageenan and guar gum. A lot of times those are added for, again, shelf life, and they're not really good for us. And especially if you drink a lot of it, then you probably shouldn't be consuming that specific product. There are brands that are very clean, just straight up coconut milk, nothing added, just good products. I can't tell you any specific brands at the moment because I can't remember what they are back home, and here it's really hit and miss. So you just got to read your labels. Same thing with the almond milk. They put carrageenan and guar gum in that one as well, and so you want to make sure you avoid those also. As far as oat milk is okay. It's maybe better than cow's milk, but that's actually questionable. There's been some studies out on oat milk that show that it's not real great for you either. So, it depends. If you've got a dairy sensitivity or if you're allergic to dairy, then you might need to try the oat milk. Back in the States, you have a lot more options of places that have, do you want oat milk? Do you want coconut milk? Do you want almond milk? What kind of milk do you want in your drink or whatever you're getting? Here, not so much. So you're lucky if they have a choice, and you're really lucky if they actually have it on site. So I do a lot of my own stuff at home. I make my own coffee at home, and if I do order something out, I have a couple of places that I know they make it like I want it made. So those are some things to think about with dairy. If you don't want to continue to look like a cow, then you may want to stop eating cow's food and try something different. That's going to help a lot. And again, coconut is really good for the brain. It can stop Alzheimer's. There's a lot of really great benefits to coconut. And, almond is just another option. If you're allergic to nuts, obviously you can't do those. If you're not allergic to nuts, you can probably do them and get away with it just fine. Okay? Alrighty, guys. I hope that gives you something to think about today and gives you a little bit more knowledge and wisdom on more subjects. All right. God bless, guys. See you tomorrow.